Good? Are you able to hear me? Oh, good. Good evening, everyone. We'll give a couple more minutes to the folks to join. Meanwhile, I'll give an introduction about myself. Sajan Liyon, one of the product manager of the VCF. Actually, in fact, I lead the vCenter product management within the VMware. With VMware for last 7 years. I have product managed multiple products like vRealize Network Insight, vRealize Operations, Logs, and the Velo Cloud too. And now the latest is the vCenter. So I'm doing the product management for the vCenter. So the point what I'm trying to make is that I do have the overall knowledge of the VCF, how is it evolving. Now, if you want to stay back and ask some questions about it, I would be really glad to help you out, right? And in today's topic, I keep hearing this from several customers. Certificate management is a pain point. And with all the new things coming, so we thought about put across this certificate management to make you understand what is happening now versus what is there in the future. So some of the roadmap item too, which is going to come up as part of the VCF 9.0. Since I'm a product manager, it's a general disclaimer, right? I tend to speak about some of the roadmap items too, which is there in that, right? There is no guarantee that that gets delivered as part of the disclaimer. It's a general disclaimer. So what I intend to cover today is very simple, right? 3 things. What is the problems with the current certificate management? What is available now to overcome that problems? And what is coming in VCF 9.0, right? And we will cover most of the things around this framework, and I'll walk you through what are the changes around it. Now, certificate management issues. I want to make the statement that as a product manager, we are listening, okay? Issues that you are encountering. And recently, the guidelines, especially for the security purpose, the guidelines is that for shorter certificate expiry, like 365 days, are leading to many expired certificates and inaccessible servers. That causes to the inaccessible servers. The second, any certificate issue happens. This is an internal problem too. You raise an SR issue, why it is, what is wrong, what is happening, and you raise an SR issue which leads to lead time of many days, right? And we also internally seeing that our GS team, the global support team, is receiving multiple issues on this. And every time you do a certificate update or a replace, it encounters a downtime when you renew the certificate, right? And this is getting changed, and I will walk you through what are those changes. And the management, so though we say that VCF has a single solution, that management of the solution is not unified or consolidated, right? It is done in different UIs. For example, if you want to manage ESXi certificate management, you go to the vCenter and do it. And the vCenter's own certificate manager, you go and vCenter and NSX, you go to NSX UI and do it. And then you have ARIA operations for logs, other certain set of products, and then you, of course, the ARIA automation and these kind of things, you need to go there and do it. And server certificates are expiring despite the alerts that we are giving. You notice that the servers are expiring, and that is causing the problem. Of course, the customer needs the better tools and manage the certificates at all VCF service. Apart from this problem, do you have any other pain point that you encounter in your environment?
They need to be in different formats depending on the product.
Sorry?
The certificates need to be in different formats depending on which products you're putting in.
Which products? The unification of the certificate and so on and so forth.
So some need PFXs, some need JavaScript, e-tool stuff.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? So there was a suggestion that the format of the certificate is kind of different. But do you face that inside the VCF components, the certificate format, or is it more of external?
We're not running VCF. all the components.
That's a broader thing.
The maker.
Yeah, at least inside the VCF you shouldn't be. Yeah, it's a broader scheme of things.
When you use an external certificate authority.
Sorry?
When you use the external certificate authority for seeing the ESXi certificates, you need to make the maintenance mode of the ESXi and disconnect to the vCenter and reconnect to the vCenter because the vCenter does not refresh the certificate.
Yes, that's the current problem. I agree with you, that's the current problem, okay? I am completely on same page with you, that's the current problem. Now, how are we addressing that? Before we get into the addressing of the certificate problem, I just wanted to give you the overview of, you might have seen this in several places, the VCF9, but just wanted to give you a summary of how does it look like. Now what you see here, you have here the base, which is the vSphere, NSX, and vSAN. On top of that, you have several admin tools like vCenter, NSX Manager, or you have the operations layer, which is the VROps, which does today the performance monitoring, availability, capacity management, cost, and so on and so forth. What essentially we are doing, we are taking this layer, which is like a multi-VC management, and building the fleet management capabilities here. So one of the fleet management capability is the certificate management. There are several fleet management capability. I'll talk you through in the next slides. So we are building it here. And the automation layer is already a consumption layer, built much more easy to use, and a consumption layer which is on top of this, which will help you to consume more services and so on and so forth. But the focus here is that whenever you have a multi-VC kind of environment, you need to do, you should be able to do the centralized operations and management, and how you can do it. That is the vision for the VCF 9. Now, just to summarize, what does that mean? And this is precisely what I said as the VCF fleet operations, the VCF management, which is built on top of the VCF operations or the ARIA operations. I'd want to avoid the confusion. Most of you are the VA admins. Currently, whatever you are using ARIA operations / the VROps, when it get into the VCF 9.0, it is called as the VCF operations. The change is that it will have operations capability plus the management capability. Now, what are the management capability? Number one, the fleet cycle, life cycle, what means that you can schedule, plan, and upgrade. The second one identity, which is like SSO, which is also a pain point where you want to log into the multiple. This one you can't use an SSO. So we will have something called VIDB. It's an identity broker which will enable you that, and it also accesses the license manager for that. That is the single subscription and support experience. Apart from that, there is several fleet management capabilities like password management, certificate management, tag management. I think these are the few things to name. That is getting built on top of it. So just to want to articulate that same problem, the VCF management experience across the vCenters, you have multi-vCenter, you have this management experience built on top of that, and provide you single interface for that management across identity, security policies, certificate management, and so on and so forth. Now, let's focus on what is my goal. Like, if I want to now remove all the pain points, what are we doing currently, and what will be available in the near future? The first one, the gentleman pointed out that whenever there is a certificate update or a renewal, there is a downtime, right? So in A2U2, we did eliminate the downtime with the non-disruptive renewal of vCenter certificate. And I think this is already available in A2U2 for VC. And in A2U3, we extended this support for ESXi certificates. So if you are on A2U3, and you go and try to replace the certificate, you pretty much get a non-disruptive experience. Now, does this solve the problem? I believe there are too many problems in this. Okay, this doesn't solve the whole thing. So now what are we doing? What are the rest of the problems and how we are doing it? Today, if you are using ARIA operations, that is in the 8.18 version, you will be able to get a consolidated certificate visibility. There will be a dashboard in which you will be able to see what is the status of your certificate. Which are the certificates going to be expired, less than in, already expired, less than in 30 days, and so on and so forth. So it gives the visibility for the entire infrastructure. Now what we are planning in the roadmap, today we do not have a centralized place to manage your certificate through GUI, through API and CLI and so on and so forth. You don't have it. So we are looking at to solve that problem in VCF 9.0. I'll walk you through how is that. The next problem is, I think he may not have articulated fully. The next problem is that let's say you do an update of certificate in VC today. There is a dependency of that VC with another third party. That connection is gone. So it's a disruptive one. How to avoid that? So that we are working on VCF 9.0. When you get the VC 9.0 onwards, this problem will be gone, right? So, and the next is, how can you enable automatic renewal? Right? Now you have in your organization, there is a certificate. I think to manage a certificate, you need a separate person if your environment is so large. Now you can set policies in your organization saying that whenever the expiry date is reaching 30 days, automatically go and renew it. And you can choose to enable it at an independent certificate level. So I'll show you how that can be done. Any questions before I get into the next slides? Good? So let's start with the base. Now what is available? This is just a slide to show the ESXi certificate management, which is available in the VC in 8.0U3. Now, if you go and do, refresh the CA certificate, you shouldn't be seeing any interruption. Nothing should go down, it should be coming out. And you should be able to do this pretty much with the APIs too. Any certificate update, the existing APIs, if you have an automation, you should be able to take advantage of that. Okay, so this is something which is in the roadmap and what is going to come in VCF 9.0. And what we are doing is the certificate management, that's the TLS for vSphere, NSX, VCF operations, VCF automation, AVI load balancer, all in a single pane of glass that is built on ARIA operations / the VCF operations in 9.0. You will have an end-to-end automated workflow to replace the certificate. It can be Microsoft signed certificate. It's a Microsoft signed one, or VMCA and OpenSSL CA. So in 9.0, we only support these, but in the future, we might go beyond that, right, based on whatever the third party. So today, if you want to do a third party, yes, that provision will be there. Certificate installation support for the third party signed certificate. So basically, you get a third-party generated certificate, you import into the VCF operations, and use that to update the certificate. Go ahead. Thank you.
What about sub-CA configuration? So when vCenter is a sub-CA of a CA from a customer, right now in VCF it's unsupported.
Okay, sub-CA configuration is if you are using internal VMware signed certificate?
No. The vCenter itself still has the VMCA, but it is a subsidiary of a root CA from a customer root CA. I could do it in vCenter, but it's unsupported in VCF.
Okay, that's something I need to double click on it. So today, whether we will...
We have a lot of customers who are using that configuration.
That configuration. The auto sign of the VMCA is taken care, but the sub CA is whether included or not, I need to double click.
It's a different animal.
Okay, I'll check it. Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you.
What about the Kubernetes? And
What about the?
What about Kubernetes?
It is also taken care. Yep. So that's taken care. Now let's look at how is it going to look like in 9.0. So this is the dashboard which I was talking about, right? If you carefully look at on your left side, you see this inventory which is classified based on your VCF domains. What are the domains? So it is easy to navigate, right? You see, and now based on this, you will be able to, what is your certificate status? This is one view, or you could view without that kind of a filter too, right? You can come here and filter based on your appliance type, expiry status, auto renew status. Now, if you carefully watch the screen, it is categories based on appliance type here. What is the status? Whether it is expired, active, what is the type of certificate? VMCA, CA signed, MCSA, and so on and so forth. Expiry date, whether auto renew is enabled or disabled. And what is the category of the certificate? Now, if you look at, now how do you enable auto renewal of the certificates? So on the top, you should be able to get this, the enable disable, and click the certificates, it will go and enable auto renewal for that. And also you should be able to configure the CA if you have which CA you need to configure, and the policies for the certificate alerts too, when it has to be alerted and so on. And all of these things can be exported to an Excel file. If you want to provide to your security guy saying that what is the landscape of your certificate. So you export from this and provide that. Okay, go ahead.
Is reporting of that going to be available through the API?
Let me repeat the question. Maybe it takes time. Is it available through the API? The answer is yes. It should be. It is available. Probably you can keep it here, the mic. I will manage it. That should be easier. And this is the summary dashboard. It will also show you how many in your landscape, what is your auto renewal status, and which are the VCF components. Okay. And what is the status of it. Now, it also provides a view based on your management components. You can filter it based on management itself, and it will show you, hey, what is the certificate status based on ARIA operations, logs, orchestrator, ARIA LCM, ARIA automation, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty easy to consume and manage it. Oh. Before we go there, any questions on the certificate? And all of these things you should be able to use APIs if you don't want to. So let me give you some more details. Let's say you are not a VCF customer. You decide that not a, oh.
Are these also deleted the old expired certificates?
Delete option of the expired certificate. It is there, yes. It is on that three dots are there. You should be able to do it from there. Any other questions? Okay, so now let me give you some more detailed input, right? Now I talked about if you are a VCF, you have this complete thing. Now, in case if you are not VCF, what will you do? All of these things are available in the APIs and the API endpoint, but the overhead that you will do is that you need to call each of the API endpoints, right? You reach out to let's say you're a vSphere only, and you have VC plus ESXi, then you need to reach out the endpoint of VC and use that APIs and to generate. Then you kind of develop this kind of a capability using your automation. And you could do that for pretty much anything which is available, right? But if you are a VCF, this is all packaged and easy to hit, and through the APIs, whatever is you see on the GUI, you can achieve it also through the API by hitting the VCF ops. All right? So I just want to touch base on this, though this is not completely related to the certificate management. One of the pain point along with the certificate when we discuss what we hear is the password management. Why? Because in VMware we have internal passwords, right? The service accounts. And as per the policy of your organization, you might need to end up in rotating that, and that rotating of the password will end up in disruptive services. So we are kind of getting away with that service account related passwords that will be internally handled. It is not called out in the slide. That will be internal. You don't need to do that. But apart from that, any password for the endpoints need to be done. There will be a password dashboard with status, and the password management can be done from the VCF ops, which is all the ARIA operations. So the password management for the fleet of vCenters, and you can rotate the password, also policy based. What is the policy for your organization? Is it you need to rotate in every 3 months, 1 month, 1 year, and so on and so forth. So that's the policy driven password management. And similar to what you saw in the certificate management, you get a dashboard like this for the whole VCF, and it will show what is the status of the password, when it is getting expired, which are the components, and disconnected, connected. So whatever the filter you can do, you should be able to take advantage of it. The only exception, I don't think it will have a export kind of a feature, but other than that, it should be, yeah. So this is the password operations. One is the rotate password, another is schedule, and what is the password status. Any questions?
Thanks. Instead of using passwords for machine-to-machine communication, do you plan to use certificates, for instance?
The answer to you is that the machine-to-machine password we are not going to use, but it is an internal mechanism. I do not remember exactly what we are using, but we are not plan is to get away with that machine-to-machine password mechanism and use an internal mechanism to communicate. All right. So I think this is a pretty short presentation. We almost reached towards the end. The key takeaway, what you want to take away from this session is that with VCF 9.0, when it comes, most of your, I would say not most, 100% of your password and the certificate management related issues should be taken out. And except the only issues is that if you have the direct integration that is needed with other third-party vendors, that will be incremental. For example, Microsoft, we are doing it from the day one, but then I know in EMEA and all that you use a lot of other third-party certificate generators, which we have a roadmap which will be integrated in the subsequent releases, and that will help you to have a certificate management, no pain kind of an experience. Thank you. If you want to connect me, I am available in LinkedIn, Sajan Liyon. Feel free to connect me, and if you have any questions, you can message me or reach me out. I really appreciate the time taken to listen to me and sit towards the end of this VMware Explore. Thank you very much.